Hello guys, this is Matt from Offroad Experts, and today we're going to be talking about Clayton Offroad Premium and Overland Plus control arms in details. Clayton actually offers all control arms in two options, Overland Plus and Premium. There's a just small little difference. Both control arms are pretty much the same. So let's talk about the similarities of those arms, because they both are amazing product, way better than a stock or stock-ish control arm on just a classic rubber bushing. Both Premium and Overland Plus control arms are pretty much the same, except for the adjuster. This is the main difference that I'm going to be talking about a little bit later. Let's focus on the similarities, because that's what makes this arm one of the best control arms on the market. Both arms are made of 8mm thick steel. That actually makes this arm super strong, and Clayton claims lifetime warranty for bending and denting those arms. You're probably not going to do it. There's just no way you can dent 8mm steel. But what about the end? That end, that eye, is actually CNC machined eye welded into the arm. Depending on the location, it's from about 6 to 8mm thick as well. And on the other side, there is the pressed in CNC machine end for the adjuster, and it's also welded. It's machined welded, so there's no place for any errors. This is highest quality manufacturing. That's definitely what Clayton is. On the fixed end, there's a GIIRO bushing on both Overland and Premium. This is exactly the same on this end. And on the first glance, this looks like a traditional bushing that's vulcanized into the eye, but it's definitely not the OEM bushing. This is completely different. I'm going to show you why this is one of the best bushing you can actually have in your control arms. It's completely different than that. Let's see how this actually moves, because most important part of the arm is the movement. You don't want it to rattle or move unwanted, but the control arm actually will be moving. If the suspension's flexing, you want it to move up and down, but obviously your axle's not going to be going up and down straight. It will flex, it will articulate, and you want it to twist, you want it to bend sideways. And the more movement, controlled movement on a control arm, the more movement, the better. So this one arm in here, this is a fixed one. It's got an OEM bushing. It's not a standard OEM control arm that you will find on a Wrangler, but it does have the same bushing. And if you see when it moves about 30, maybe 40 degrees, can't really press it anymore, and it's just going to be coming back to its previous location. So once you set it, you don't have much articulation, and it's actually probably blocking a little bit of your articulation. If you have lots of trouble in your suspension, if you lift it, if you paid a lot for springs and shocks, this is the part that's going to stop you from articulating the way that your shocks will let you, or your longer sway bar links or longer springs. This is the part that you also have to replace for something like Clayton arms to keep the articulation from top to bottom. So this is nice and tight. This is also a partly rubber bush, and it's also vulcanized to the outer shell, just like this one. And the rubber is really important, because that's what makes the ride comfortable. That's what makes it twist sideways. Actually twists a little bit more than the standard bushing. Is where this bushing comes to shine, because this is a Teflon infused inset, and it's completely free to rotate 360 degrees. So as you can see, this is already fixed. There's completely no restriction in the movement. So if your suspension articulates, the control arms just can go freely up and down. Obviously there's a bit more restriction on the side, but still much better. I can do it easily. There's no rattle, but you can easily move it. You can easily twist it. So this is the best bushing if it comes to durability, completely free of any service, any maintenance, because you just fit it, forget it, and you've got one of the nice bushings inside. We do sell a lot of those control arms. I don't remember we actually sold any of those replacements. That actually means a lot. So on both control arms, Overland Plus and the Premium, on the fixed end you have a gyro bushing, and on the Overland Plus, on the forge end, the adjuster one, you also have a gyro bushing, which makes this control arm completely maintenance free and almost everlasting. So this is a good option if you don't want to do much maintenance on your vehicle. If you just want to fit that control arm, this is probably going to be the last control arm you're going to buy, in a good way, obviously. Now on the Premium, you do have a johnny joint forge and adjuster, and there's also two different options. On some control arms there's a narrow version, and some control arms have a thicker version. They also differ in the amount of flex they do have. This is a very specific joint because it looks like a bearing, but there's actually rubber inside. So it's also still comfortable, but it's not maintenance free. The main thing is that zerk fitting in here, you will have to grease that end once in a while. Obviously depends how much you riding and what conditions you're riding. There's not much grease that actually stays in this bushing, but once you grease it, it will move freely. So let's test it how this moves, because this is also free to move, just like the gyro bushing. There's no restriction, and you can see I can actually easily twist it, move it side to side. There's a much more angle you can actually move this control arm. So if you have 4 of those or 8 of those in your vehicle, that means there's just completely no restriction whatsoever if it comes to articulation. So if you're looking for a long arm, if you're looking for a really good set of long travel suspension, those control arms are probably for you. But you have to remember there's a maintenance that needs to be done once in a while. So having any of those 2 control arms, you can still swap the ends from Overland Plus to the johnny joint on Premium. You can go both ways. There's no difference. Obviously you will have to remove the control arm and remove the end. Those comes in different sizes. The main difference is the narrow version actually have a little bit more flex available, because the body doesn't restrict the movement, and it actually is made different. The urethane bush inside the wide version is actually one piece, and there's a little bit more of this bush. Narrow version is just a 2-piece option. You have to put it inside. You probably won't replace it as long as you remember to grease it in time, but if you do, those are ready and available on our shelf. You can still rebuild those ends. So guys, if you're looking for the best Jeep suspension, the Clayton, whichever option you choose, is probably a top notch. There's nothing that can beat it, or at least not very close. Obviously Clayton makes lots of different parts than just control arms. Their most famous springs are one of the best selling springs in our shop. If you're looking for the Jeep suspension, you're definitely not wrong going with Clayton, whichever option you're going. With maintenance and lots of flex, or a little bit less flex and maintenance free Overland Plus, both options are just amazing, and the one that you're not going to replace for anything else. If you have those control arms, just ditch them as soon as possible and you will see the difference.